Hi everybody, this is a level 2 and 3. I will give you adaptations as we go along, but it's really meant for people who do not have so many issues or injuries, but I promise you I will give you alternatives as we go along. You're always quite entitled to stop, have a rest. I would advise that we drink water, so make sure you've got a glass of water near you, but it's out of the way and safe. I am using a band today. If you don't have a band for some stretches, you could use a scarf or a towel or a belt. If you don't have a band, I will be giving you exercises that we can do with or without the band. If you are using a band, always check it, make sure that it's safe before you go, there's no nicks and tears. Bands come in different strengths. I am using a green, which is a little bit too easy for me, but I am using that so you can see the band against my outfit rather than me using a darker band. Make sure your area is clear. You may need a pillow, so if you go and grab yourself a pillow, something comfortable to lie on. If you haven't got a band, you might want to get a scarf or a belt or a towel for stretching. If you do have a band, make sure you check it before you use it. Yes? So we're going to start off, if you would do, with feet and knees hip distance. Now I have got my mat lengthways, as I do for most of the filming, but if you do have a mat, I want you to be able to travel sideways today. So feet and knees are hip distance. Feel your weight is equal between both feet. The sacrum, this big triangle bit, is dropping down. Crown of the head is up to the ceiling. Palms face the outside of the trousers. Chin just slightly nodded. I'd like you to just sway into the right foot. Come back into the centre and sway into the left. So you are swaying a little bit from right, swaying a little bit to left. So would you do that in your own time? You are swaying from side to side. So as you're swaying, just breathing subconsciously. And I don't know about you, but does it feel a little bit easier as you sway to one side more than the other? So we're swaying from one side to the other. Come back into the centre. Start to lift your heel and let it go. So as you're lifting your heel, could you get your knee to go in line with that second toe for me? As you're lifting the heel, am I right that your body's going to sway? So a couple of seconds ago, you were consciously making your body sway. This time, because you're lifting the heel, the body is automatically doing it. You've got a couple more. Stay with this if you need to. The pelvis should be swaying, but it should be level. Heel lift, pelvic and core stability. Could you now let your knee float? So you're doing this in your own time. You're lifting the heel, you're letting the knee float. The knee to the ankle should be in a straight line. So the knee to the ankle, just feel that the foot just dangling down. Folks, I am swaying, but what I'm not doing, or I'm trying not to, is hitching the hip. Now, if you are hitching your hip, try saying that. Just go back to lifting the heel, yes? Would you do one more right? Relax the shoulders. One more left. I don't know if you noticed that I've moved forwards on my mat, have you? And then just shake out. Bring the feet and knees back to hip distance. I would like you to let your right arm float and bring it down. So any issues with the shoulder, you might want to just stay with this. Would you let it float? Open the door, let your rib cage move and bring it back. Same side. Lead with the thumb. Open the door, let the rib cage move and bring it back. So we're doing a couple without moving the head. So we get a little bit of release into the upper back and through what we call fascia through into the neck before we move the neck. So here we go. Chin slightly nodded. Look towards your hand. bring it back and let it go. One more time. Lifting, open. Now as you're doing that, your opposite heel, could you lift the heel, hold, open, bring it back, let it go. Did you notice with that how much harder it's got through the core just through lifting that heel? Open, breathing normally, let it go. Let's have a breather. Kick out, changing sides. Look towards your thumb. Bring it back down. Now, as you're doing this, remember if you've got a shoulder issue, I'd like you to do the same on both sides. If it's uncomfortable, you just stay with this. You don't have to progress it, but if you can, lift, open, and bring it back. Started to use my head straight away, did you notice then? So you try not to move your head. Do it in your own time. You lift, you open, you bring it back and you release. Now if it feels okay, we start to follow that hand. Always let your arm come down in between. We open the chest, bring it back. Now, I'm different. Are you different from one side to the other? As I'm doing this, I feel I can't see as much. I feel like I can't turn my head as easily on this side. You all right, Anya? One more time. I was just talking to our film person who is more than 2 meters away from me. Lifting, opening, bringing it back. And release. Now I didn't include any breathing pattern with that, we will do later. So let's start to take arms across chest if that's appropriate. If it's not, you can have them here or even here. Step to the right, come back, step to the left, come back, step to the right, come back, step to the left. Now how are you doing? As you're doing this, speed it up if you can and feel that you're not pushing the pelvis out. It will move slightly, it will. And as you're going, keep going. I'm going to turn, but you keep going. Think of this little connection from hip to rib. So as you're moving, you're not increasing the curve in the lower back. You're staying between 2 panes of glass. Step right, step left. If it feels okay, could you step further out? 2 more times. You should feel that around the hip socket. 1 more time and come back. So we're working in different planes of movement today. Would you go back to lifting the knee? Hold. Now allow the leg to rotate out. Bring it back and release it. Do it again, please. Lift the heel first. Lift the knee second. Remember that foot's dangling down, pelvis level. Open the hip and let it go. Now you keep doing that. Lift, open, bring it back. If this is not right for you, stay with the heel lift. Or you could do the side to side. It's entirely up to you, but miss out that rotation if it's not right for you. Would you do a couple more where we are lifting? Try and keep the hips facing me-ish. They will have to move a little bit. So we're lifting, the foot's dangling down from the knee. We are opening the hip, bringing it back and let it go. Have a little kick out for me. Would you take your feet a little wider than you've had them? Folks, I know you guys know how to do a squat. So you've got your feet apart, but I want you to remember some of the technique that we're using. Arms can be here if you need to, but I'd like them here. Chin slightly nodded. Feel where your sacrum is. Let your bottom sit back. Keep going for me. So the first part of the movement, I don't want you to watch me, keep listening because you know what you're doing. Let your bottom sit back. Head is in line. Take a little breath in as you down, little breath out as you come up. So you've got that movement, keep going for me. Think about the distance between the hip and the rib, staying the same all the way through. Folks, you have a couple more here, but what I'd like you to do is have a glance at your knees. Are your knees in line with your second toe? Feel that your ankles are not rolling in. You know we'll have done that in class quite a lot. That you're trying to focus on keeping the alignment of the ankle and the knee. Now, if it feels comfortable for you, would you go a little bit lower down as long as you can keep your technique good? I'm not going to do this, is fine for me. So you've got a couple more. We're strengthening the glutes. We are actually strengthening our spinal extensors. We're working the core. We're strengthening the legs. And release. Come back up for me. So bring the feet just back to hip distance if you would. This time you're going to take your arm out to the side and we're alternating. So we're lifting and bringing it down. We are lifting and bringing it down. Now look towards your hand, down. Look towards the hand and down. Look towards the hand and down. Look towards the hand. So this is a movement called scaption. We're getting some mobility through our shoulders, but I'm also warming up in preparation for an exercise that's going to follow. Are your shoulders away from your ears? One more time. And bringing it back. Would you start to step out to the side as you did earlier? But I'd like you to keep going to the same side. So make sure for me that you've got enough room. Pushing out, coming back. When you're ready, start to bend the knee. Look at where my knee is. Look at where my toe is. Now the leg that's on the floor, Andy, can people see both my feet? Yeah. So look at the foot that's on the floor. It should be facing forwards. I call it bladed. You're pushing the outside of the foot into the mat. I want you to feel that the knee is not moving excessively over that foot. So we should be ankle, knee, pushing outwards. If it's painful, step. Yes, 2 more. Step and come back. Let it go. Come back into centre. Arms across the chest. I'd like you to sway into your toes. Lift both feet. Speed that up, lifting. Don't worry if you're wobbling. If you take that compensatory step, it's not a bad thing. Use the wall if you need to. Spread your toes out, lifting up. And as you're doing this, just breathe. Feel that you're keeping this little hip to rib connection. If you can, speed it up. Add a little bit of intensity into it. Last 3, last 2, last 1, and rest. Shake it out. Little step to this side. Arms can be here, here, wherever you feel comfortable. Start to step out. You're pushing this foot into the floor. Now, when you feel ready, start to step further out. This leg's facing me, yes, toes facing forwards. Keep doing that in your own time. Keep going for me. So as you're stepping out, I'd like you to take a breath as you come in and breath out. Breath in and breath out. Arms can change. Do what you feel right with them. So you've got a couple more. You're thinking about that alignment, knee in line with that second toe. You're pushing out and you've got another 1. So we're strengthening the legs. We're being a bit more dynamic. Come back a little bit more and work through the adductors inside thigh. Okay. This time you're going to go back to a movement that you did earlier. Feet and knees hip distance. Did you notice I made a mistake earlier on? I'm going to correct it now. So let your arm come up. Let it open. Look towards your hand. Let it come back down this time. Lift it. Slightly soften the knees. Open the chest. Look towards your hand. Let it come down. So you're lifting. So when we did this last time, we didn't go quite as far. You only go as far as you feel comfortable. But can you remember when we did it earlier on, I didn't lift the foot. So this time you're going to lift the opposite foot. Do the same movement with the foot lifted on this side. So we're increasing the range of movement through our upper body. That heel is lifting and it's opening. Can you feel how much difference that makes, or is it just me? So as you're lifting that heel, opening, we're increasing the stability, the core stability, and open, bring it back. Let's change arms, kick out. So this time on this arm, you're looking towards your hand, you're opening it, and you're bringing it back down. So this time on this side, we're not going to use the foot, so that I've managed to redeem myself, because I forgot the heel lift on the other side. You're opening the chest, looking towards your hand. I don't know if you've noticed, but the pelvis is moving a little bit. And by all means, allow that to happen, but I do not want you to encourage it. You're breathing subconsciously. We're getting movement through the chest. One more time, getting some spinal rotation and release. Okay. This time I would like you to bend your knees and pick up your band if you've got a band. So if you've got a band, but if you haven't got a band, you can do it beautifully without. Take the band, please, and place it underneath the foot that's opposite me. Please, when you do the tug test, make sure that you've got, it's not going to flick out. I would like you to have the band so there's a little bit of give. It's to the top, so the dangly bit's to the top. Okay, so you're going to take the feet a little wider. Can you go to that scaption where you're leading with your thumb? Keep that little hip to rib connection and breathe out as you lift the arm. Now listen, lots of my clients have shoulder injuries. You could make your band really, really baggy. Keep going. So you could make the band really baggy. I don't know if you can see, I've hardly got any resistance now. Or you could do it without the band, yes? So you're breathing out and breath in. So we're strengthening the shoulder, keep going. We're working on scapular stability. We're keeping the shoulders away from the ears. We're using our abdominals, but I'm not forcing them. I'm just not letting my body move as my arm lifts. One more time, take a breath out and bring it down. Now you might need to adjust this, have a see how you go. This leg, we're going to bend this leg, lift the left leg out to the side, look at my foot, keep going for me. The foot is bladed, as you did earlier, the leg straight. I'd like your knee facing me, rhymes, and I'd like your heel pushing away. Now, if and when you're ready, add your arms. So I've just made my arm a little bit looser there, not my arm, my band a little bit looser. Look at my supporting knee. Now adjust it as you need to. So you can make it a little harder by making your band shorter. You can make it easier by making your band longer or not using a band. Yes, remember that. Could you add both arms? Take a breath. Breath in. Breath in. Two more. Breath in, one more, hold, stay here, hold, little lift, push that knee outwards, lift, so the leg you stood on, push it outwards. Can you keep the leg in the air straight? Last 3, last 2, last 1, did you see me wobbling? Have a rest, give yourself a breather, recover. Let that arm relax. Okay, this side's going to rest. Take the band, place it on the floor. Do the tug test for safety before you start, make sure you've got enough room. So I have got my legs a little wider, dangly bits at the top, hip to rib, let your arm just lift. Look that my thumb is leading. You're trying to keep the shoulder away from the ear, yes? Take a little breath out as you lift, little breath in as you come down, little breath out as you lift. So I'm aware that you might see this film, sometimes you might watch it daytime, afternoon, evening. But today when we're filming, it's a beautiful sunny day. My husband's painted everything that can stand still in the garden. I now have a grey shed. I quite liked it the other way, never mind. You've got 2 more. I've had my bushes cut. The garden looks fabulous. He's not allowed out. So you've got 2 more. So because he can't go out, he's gardening. This is the last one. And you lift. Now, only if it feels right for you can we go. Lift and take the leg out, bringing it back down. So you lift, take the leg out and bringing it back down. So the leg that I'm stood on, the knee is slightly bent, yes? The leg that's straight, have the toe facing forwards. So you've got a couple more here. Now, I'm not quite as good on this side. I know we're working this leg, but we're using the leg that you are standing on for stability. If you feel comfortable, add your arm. Folks, remember you can do it without the band. The elbows are slightly soft. And as we lift, we take a breath out. We breathe in. Rest if you need to. Hold. Little lifts. Breathe. I'm using that short little breath. You don't need to breathe in. Your body will automatically breathe in for you. Little breath out through the mouth as if you're blowing out through a little tube. And release it. Let it go. Okay. If you're using a band, pop it down for now. You've got your feet and knees hip distance. Come over this side for me a little bit. Make sure you've got an area that's clear. You're not going to stand on anything. Okay, remember this one that we did earlier, yes? You're stepping out. So we did that one earlier. You're stepping out. Now I want you to lift. So you step out and lift. Go again. If it's hurting you, step, lift. Step, lift. But if you can, lunge and lift. Watch what I'm doing. You keep going. As I lunge, my bottom sits back, yes? So I lunge, look at my knee. My knee should be going in line with the second toe. What's happening to your opposite leg? Keep going for me. So what's happening to the leg that's on the floor? Can you keep the outside of the foot down? Rest if you need to, but if you can, could you put a little bit of arm? Breath in, breath in, 2 more. Breath in, 1 more, and rest. Shake out. So that should have got your heart rate up a little bit. Feet closer again. Start with your arms however you're comfortable. Step and back. Step and back. So have a look at the alignment of my knee and my foot. This toe's facing forwards. My bottom's sitting back slightly, yes? So you can stay with that. If that's hurting you, step and in, yes? But if you can do, and it's up to you, out and drive. Whoa, I'm wobbly on this side. So you're trying to keep this foot down. You're bringing the knee up. Step out, come back. Step out, come back. Your bottom's sitting back, but is that spine long? There's no rending through the spine, no big curves in the lower back. Can you add your arms? Don't worry which way, but I'd like it to be opposite arm to leg coming up. Press, come on, rest if you need to. I'd like you to give me another 4, getting that knee, pushing out. Could you go a little wider? Breath in. And again, pull back, and you have done. Shaking your legs out for me. Recover. We're going to do that again, but I'm going to put an extra exercise in, just to give your legs a rest, if that's okay. Feet and knees are hip distance. Remember the rotational stuff we've been doing? Well, I'd like you to this time have your arms here, shoulders relaxed, crown of the head long. Rotate your ribs and let your pelvis move. Now, even though you're a level 2 or 3, some of you might have issues where you are not supposed to rotate excessively. So osteoporosis, you let your pelvis move. If rotational issues bother you, I've got quite a few clients who I make you move your pelvis on this. Carry on moving your pelvis. If you feel it's okay, fix your pelvis and increase that rotation. Now, only if you are okay with your back and your shoulders take your arms here. Osteoporosis should not. If you've got stenosis or spondylolisthesis, if you've got arthritis or degenerative disc disease, I would allow your pelvis to move a little bit. Arms across the chest might be better for you. Just breathe in subconsciously. Feel the navel slightly drawn into the spine and release. Okay, last bit in standing. Bend your knees as you pick up your band. Remember, if you haven't got a band, you can do the exercise without. We've been starting this way. Can I change it and start this way? So your band this time goes underneath your stationary leg. Get it towards the end, and I want you to make sure you do the tug test and it's safe. Yes? You're going to need quite a long band. Here we go. Step, come back. Ooh, says she. You've done it before. Watch me do it wrong. Yes? And also watch me do it wrong with the knee. Oh, my knees don't like that. So you're pushing away. Now, once you've got it, we're going to go. Drive, bring it back. Drive, bring it back. Drive, bring it back. Drive. 2 more times. Bring it back. And rest. Give yourself a breather, changing sides. So last little bit, it's underneath the foot, going back to what we did earlier, but we've just changed the lead leg. So it's a drive. Once you've got it, and back. Shoulders away from the ears. You may be feeling this a little bit on that inside thigh. Bring it back. Bring it back. And again. Try and keep this foot flat, leading with the thumb. It's fine without the band. 2 more, you can do it without the band. 1 more, bring it back and recover. Now, if you can't kneel, stay standing and do this forwards and back sways. If you can kneel, please do. Excuse me being sideways. Feet together, squeeze the bum. Now hold that. If you know you've got piriformis syndrome, or you're getting any increased sciatica down the back of your legs, would you have your feet apart? Yes? Use a pillow for your knees if you need to. Arms across the chest. Think of this hip to rib connection. Folks, watch that it's coming from my knees, not my spine. I lean back just a little bit and come back to centre, yes? Breath out. Now, although I'm using my extensor muscles, I want to keep a little connection, so I'm using the out breath as we lean back. It's a little movement. Coming back, keep going for me, keep going. If your knees won't allow you to do that, I'd like you to lift your heels, hold it for a few seconds, lift your toes and hold it for a few seconds, yes? So we're doing that little extension work, core, extension and glutes. Now start to add your arms, float and come back please, and again, float and come back please, 1 more time. So shoulders away from the ears and come back into centre. So if you have a band, we're going to use a band for this, but you do not have to use a band. I've got it like this. Join me on all fours. Now, some of you will have done this with me before, some of you may not. If you haven't, have a little watch and then rewind and do it with me. So hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Just do the tug test. The arm that's closest to me, bring it straight back. I don't know if you can see this. My arm is straight. Now my supporting elbow is bent. I can't see myself, so I hope I'm in the right position. As you're taking the arm up, take a breath out, breath in, breath out, breath in. 2 more, breathe out, breathe in. 1 more, breath out, breath in and lift. Remember, if that bothers your wrists, you can do it, team, like this. So you can do it kneeling. If you haven't got a band, you can do it the same thing, really straight and strong. Are you still doing it? So still carry on, team, as I'm talking to you. Last 1, release, give yourself a breather. Come up for me, relax, let's do it again. So team, I'm going to turn around so you can see me. You don't need to turn around. You pull the arm back, The arm is straight, the opposite elbow's bent. If you do not have a band, it is still a fantastic exercise, and people with shoulder injuries might choose to do it without a band anyway. We're working muscles called latissimus dorsi, we're working the core, we are bone loading, we are working for scapular stability, and we're toning up the back of your arms. You keep going for me, you keep going. Remember, you can do it like this, you could do it standing. You do not need to have a band. Breath out. Would you give me another 2, folks? Remember that movement, because we're going to go back to it. Okay. If you have a band, place it underneath your armpits. If you don't have a band, you're going to do it perfectly well without. Feet together, remember? Piriformis syndrome, feet apart. We're going to push the band forwards and bring it back. Do it again. Push forwards and bring it back. Now, if you do not have a band, I'd like you to lift as you did earlier, but this time pull back. Lift and pull back. So whether you're pushing forwards or you're lifting your arms, breathe out as they go forwards, breath in as they come back. Breathe out as you go forwards, breath in as you come back. You got it. Soft breath out through the mouth, soft breath in through the nose. But you know my motto, if you get confuzzled, just breathe. You have a few more. Make this your last one, with or without the band, and release. Let's go back to the mat. Now, if you've got wrist injuries, you can do this with your forearms down. Maybe put them on a couple of pillows. So we're going to go band underneath the hands. Knees in line with your hips. Folks, you know this one. Straighten the leg out behind you. Check your hips are level. Tighten the buttock, elbows soft. Now the next bit, I'd like you to rotate your heel inwards. So make sure you can see my foot. The pelvis will have moved, but I want you to avoid that. Stay here. Stay here and hold. Listen out. If you have piriformis syndrome, I don't want you to turn the foot. I want you to keep it straight. Fabulous exercise for the buttocks and also the pelvic floor. Let it go. Change sides, please. Slide the leg. Try and minimise how much you sway. Tense the leg. Is your leg straight? Are your hips level? If they are, let the heel rotate inwards. Now remember, you do not do that if you get any increased sciatic symptoms, and bring it back. So here we go, your decision. You know whether you're going to rotate that foot or not. Slide it back, rotate, hover, hold, and we lift and down. Now try and keep the hips really level. Folks, feel you pushing the floor away without rounding your spine. You're keeping your pelvis level, and feel that the weight is leaning slightly into the moving leg. Watch you not putting all your weight into your bent leg. I'm looking down and all the glittery bits on my socks are on the mat. One more time, hold, bring it back, recover, quick release. Now you're going to do the same leg and your opposite arm. You don't have to use your arms if you're down on your forearms. Do it with or without the band. Here we go. Arms straight, lift the leg, hold, lift, take it down. Do that again, lift. Take it down. I want you to be able to see me. So you're doing straight leg and the arm. So if I do the same leg, same arm as you're doing, I've just turned around. So you lift and down. You lift and down. Go again. 4. You keep going. Now the elbow that you're leaning on, check it slightly bent. Is the leg straight? Are you tensing through the quadricep? Don't look at me, keep looking towards the mat, shoulders away from the ears. Keep that little connection between your hips and ribs. One more time, now hold. So folks, I'd like you to be in this position. Hold, here we go. 8, 7, rest if you need to. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, hold, a little lift. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release. Okay, would you relax your wrists for me? Third and final one in this position. You take your band, if you've got one, underneath your armpits. If you haven't, don't worry. We're going to put the two things together that we've worked on. Squeeze your bum cheeks. Remember, feet can be together unless you've got piriform syndrome, feet apart. So I want you to feel connected, hip to rib. Remember the leaning back from the knees, yep? And come back to centre. You can do this standing with your sways. You don't have to lean back. Could you use your band and lean slightly back? Breath out. Breath in. And as you're doing it, visualise as you lean back that your hip bones are coming closer together. You've got this connection. There's no movement in the spine here or here. We're moving from the knees. Keep going for me. If you do not have a band, soft breath in. There's no excuse. I'm known in the industry as Miss Alternative. Do one more. I hope that's a good thing. Last one. And come back. Okay, let's start the journey on the other side. So you've got your band. You can do it on your forearms if you wish. Other leg. So make sure you use a different leg from the one you used previously. Yes? Pelvis square. Straighten out. Rotate the foot in if that's appropriate for you. Lift the leg. Hold. Lift and down. You're trying to keep the pelvis as level as you can. So you are lifting and down. Try and keep the pelvis as level as you can do. I don't want you to look at me, looking down. Now, are you pushing the floor away? Elbows stay relaxed. Trying not to move your upper back. You're not rounding it, you're not dropping the lower back. And this is your last one. So you're going to use your band. Team, I'm turning around just so you can see what I'm doing with the band. You don't need to turn round. Here we go. Arms straight, legs straight, lift. We lift the arm and down. We lift the arm and down. So you're lifting the arm, keeping the arm as straight as you can. Check your wrist is in line for me, especially the ladies. Watch you not doing that. Gentlemen, you know I'm a little bit better at this. Two more. So it's a 1, pushing back. It's a 2. Now hold your arm, lift, and we lift. And 7, and 6, and 5. Breathe. Elbow relaxed on your supporting arm. Hold. Little lift. Are you keeping your pelvis level? Try not to move the lower back. The work should come from hip extension, not spinal extension. 3, and 2, and 1, and recover. Give yourself a breather. If you feel you want to go into a shell stretch, please do. Take your band out of the way. Grab yourself a drink if you need one. And we're going to finish off with one exercise on the floor, so that we've done quite a lot of standing and kneeling work today. And we're going to finish off with one exercise on the floor for extension, but I do want to do one exercise on the floor for flexion. Some of you might need a pillow. I want your head to be in line with the spine. I know for medical reasons some of you might need a little bit more. Folks, we're going to do an exercise called single leg stretch. This is quite an advanced exercise. It's one of the original works. You know, we don't do many of the original works. We do all the principles. I will build it up step by step. Just because you're experienced, it might be that you've got a neck issue, you might have osteoporosis, your back might not be so good. So anytime you need to go to a previous version, please do. We've got a flexion exercise, then we've got an extension exercise. So you're coming onto your back. If you need a pillow, please do. If you have a neck issue, I'd maybe advise you to use a little pillow. We're starting off bringing the knee into the chest. Yes, so most of us will be able to do that. Start small. Just see, does your pelvis really rock as you're doing it? Try and keep it still. It's not essential. Okay, I know you're going to be watching me, but I'd like you to try and nod the chin and look towards your knees. Hip replacements, you're not forcing the knee all the way into your chest, but I know you know that. Chin nodded. And as you do it, team, visualise you bringing your hips and your ribs closer together. You are drawing your tummy muscles down towards the mat. Now you might notice that at the Pilates studio we don't cue abdominals all the time. So we tend to cue it in different ways. We believe in trying to get the body to function functionally, not because you're telling it to do it more automatically. But when I start to do more advanced exercises like this, I do cue your abdominals. Breathe out, hip to rib, tummy sink into the floor. Osteoporosis, neck injuries, do not. But those of you who can, let's feel we glide the ribs down. Check the back of the ribs at the bottom pushes down and lift up. So you're lifting up from your ribs, not your head. Let it go. Team, I have got a tummy. So I have to work a little harder on this, but I promise you, I am not bulging my abdominals outwards. There's a difference between the jiggly bits having to go somewhere. So at any time you feel your abdominals are pushing out, if your tummy muscles are pushing out, then so is your pelvic floor. So you stop, you rest, lower the level or start again. One more time. So some of you will be doing this without lifting the head and let it go. So that you can go back to any time, promise me, yes? Arms by your side. Folks, you are going to bring one knee into the chest, hover, hold it, pull it in. Press the back into what we call imprint, you know that. Lift the second leg, abdominals shouldn't have bulged. Slide the leg to the top of where the wall and the ceiling meet. Now press the bottom of the back of your ribs down. And switch, and switch. Is the lower back in contact with the mat? Feel you pull the ribs down a fraction at the front of the body. Keep the back of your ribs at the bottom down. Now only if it's right for you. Chin nodded and lift. And it's take a breath out through the mouth, as if you're blowing out through a little straw. You do not need to take a breath in. Your body will automatically take a breath in for you. One more, please, and rest. Team, I've never been great at abdominal stuff, but since I've been doing the reformer, I've got so much stronger around my midsection. I'm still a little chub. So we've done a little bit of flexion work. Can I get you now to turn onto your side, roll onto your tummy. Now some of you need a pillow underneath your tummy for this. Go ahead, place that if you need it. I'd like you to be able to place something underneath your forehead, just so you're not squashing your nose. And before we go, some of you should only be doing the extension in the upper back, not the lower back. I'll remind you as we go along. So I'm not going to use the pillow, but by all means do. Team, I need a pillow underneath my feet because I've got arthritis in my knees. So I need a pillow underneath my feet. If you get cramp in your feet, you might do. So you've got your forehead down. Enya was indicating that I looked a little bit like Ken Dodd there. So my forehead's down, arms here. I am going to turn my head so you can hear me, but I do not want you to. So when you're ready, draw your shoulders down the back a fraction and release. Draw your shoulder blades down the back a fraction. Now feel you are peeling the nose, the chin, and peeling your sternum off the mat and lower it back down. Do that again in your own time. So folks, you are drawing your shoulder blades down your back first, peeling the breastbone off the mat. Feel that you're still looking at the floor, you're not looking at the wall in front of you. And as you go down, lengthen your spine as you go down. I want you to just breathe subconsciously on this, because I could argue whether we should be breathing in or out on certain phases of the movement. So I just want you to breathe. As you're doing it, feel you're getting longer as you come up and longer as you go back down. but I want you, if possible, to try and switch off the lower back and switch off the bottom. Out of all the exercises that I'm teaching online, this is the one that frustrates me the most, that I can't see you, because so many people only move into the thoracic area. Sorry, they don't move in the thoracic area at all, and they only move into the lumbar. If you know that I nag you in class, or any of the other teachers nag you in class about trying to get the movement into the upper back, think about what you've been told or what somebody's done hands-on with you. I'd like you to rest. Folks, rock your hips from side to side. Allow yourself to relax. Just have a little rest. If you feel you want to go into shell stretch, please do. If you want to turn onto your back and hug your knees into your chest, please do. Now, when we come higher up, remember, some of you should not be doing lumbar extension. Those of you who I've said to you in the past, you've maybe got a massive curve in your lower back, maybe you've got spondylolisthesis, or it just doesn't feel comfortable, you don't go lower. But most people will benefit from coming lower down. Let's have a go. Osteoporosis, you're okay to do this as long as we're not getting a hinge. So we're here. Shoulder blades slide down the back. We peel the breastbone. Now you can stay with this thoracic area if you wish. If you can, I'm not forcing the arms. My bottom's joining in, my lower back is doing some work, and I am rolling it back down. Do that in your own time. Shoulder blades glide. We peel. Some of you may feel that you have to draw the tummy in slightly. Your buttocks are going to join in if you come higher up. You must be keeping your hip bones on the floor, lengthen your spine and roll it back down. Do it again. Consciously feel that you are lengthening. I'm actually pulling a little bit on my arms so I can get a little bit more length with that. Remember, some of you should not be coming into lumbar extension. Oh, looking at this mat makes me go a bit wobbly. And rolling it back down. You should have a ski slope at the back of your neck, folks. You're not allowing the neck to arch backwards or drop down. It's that beautiful ski slope from the back of the neck. Your hip bones stay down. It should not be painful. There should be no pinching into the lumbar spine. Can we do one more? Folks, this is one of my favourite exercises. You are peeling, peeling, peeling. Bottom tightens if you come higher, legs lengthen. We're never locking the arms or forcing the arms. We roll down, lengthen as you roll down. Spinal extension. Release. Team, when you're ready, turn onto your side. You can use a band, you can use a belt, you can use a towel. If when you do your hamstring stretches, your neck arches back, grab an extra pillow. So we're going to finish off on our back. Sacrum is flat. I would like you to bring your right knee into your chest, hug it in as close as you comfortably can. Hip replacements, remember you're here. Straighten your opposite leg onto the floor. Now, is that knee facing up to the ceiling? Yeah? Think about how that straight leg, how much is that knee bent? Everybody will have a little bend. Let it go, changing legs. Troops, I am doing this just to release the hip flexor. Now, the hip flexors are not used when we were doing the lunges and the squats, but they were used when we were doing the knee lift, and they were used an awful lot when we were doing the single leg stretch. So I'm just releasing the hip flexors. We're going to have a little release of the hamstring. So you lasso underneath the arch of your foot, anchor it down. You know this one. Look at your leg. If the leg can't straighten, it doesn't matter, let it lower, but you only let it lower if you're holding the leg with something. Your decision whether you straighten the other leg or not. Keep your sacrum down. Breathe, see if you can increase that stretch. I'm looking at my sparkly socks. These are brand new and I've hardly got any diamantes left on my sparkles. Now imagine you let it go 1/2 inch. Could you take it to 5-2, centre, 5 past, centre, head still. Do it in your own time. Opposite hip doesn't lift. Breathe in and release. When you're ready, please don't do this change legs normally if you've got a bad back, but if you can, change legs the easy way. So you've got your leg up, the foot is relaxed. Your decision whether you straighten the opposite leg or not. Look towards the knee, relax the foot. Can you get your leg straight? If not, it doesn't matter, let it lower away as long as your leg is being held. Otherwise, breathe, see if you can increase that stretch. I have lost so many sparkly bits off my socks. When you're ready, ease off 1/2 inch. 5-2, o'clock, 5 past. Ooh, that's lovely. Folks, you're doing this in your own time. Keeping your opposite hip still. And once you've done this last one, we're giving a stretch to slightly different heads of the hamstring. Just releasing, we're not doing a static stretch, we're moving as we do it. And release it. So you'll see that we just do different stretches, different times, different places. When you're ready, would you turn onto your side? Coming up into kneeling. Folks, if it hurts you to kneel, will you stand for me? So we're going to have the feet and knees just hip distance. Arms are relaxed down by the side of your body. Feel that the crown of the head's up to the ceiling. And remember, I want good posture to be effortless. As my dad would have said, you should feel now that you are lengthened, strengthened and re-knobbed. I never quite understood what that meant, but that's what he used to say. And it does make you feel lengthened and strengthened. So have a great rest of the day, morning, whatever you're doing. Any feedback, you know you can email us at the studio. Speak to you soon, everybody, until we meet again. Bye.